Okay. So we're continuing with the tutorial, right?
We are. I think it's been so long, I've forgotten what I'm doing. So on /run R node, /run R node. Oh,
there's running.
That's a surprise because I've rebooted. So why would it be automatically running?
Maybe Docker. Try Docker. Docker PS.
Yeah. Just kill it. Start fresh. So I've done it.
Yeah.
Cool. And then Docker PS. I'm pretty sure I switched.
It's killed now.
Yeah.
You killed it.
So there you see.
Yeah, but it still says 90. So I think it's still running.
Yeah.
Can you do PS minus AUX grep R node? Well, pipe grep R node.
Oh, sorry. It's been a while. It's amazing how quickly you forget.
So scroll up. That's 90. You see? You're running this, but where are you running this?
No idea.
Yeah, you might need to kill it manually. Kill -9, 90. Yeah.
Still there.
Oh, which process is that? Can you scroll up again? It's another process. 174.
Where are you seeing that? Oh yeah, here.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's restarting. Oh no, it's gone now, has it? Yeah.
No. Done.
Thanks.
Now you can.
It's like going back to the start, isn't it, when I have a few weeks off? Is that now running? No.
Yeah, it's running.
Right, okay. So, and then I want to do a code, don't I?
Well, that's in the RGov directory.
Oh, what's happened there?
I don't know.
Just killed my session completely. What went on? That's friggin' weird.
Go to RGov again, but not the bootstrap directory, the main directory, and execute code dot in there.
Ah, thank you. Yeah. I'll just let you tell me. It's annoying because I've forgotten. Code dot or dot code.
Space dot.
Thanks. And then it's npm start. Yeah?
Code is the command and dot is the directory. It's the current directory, basically.
Ah, right. Got you. Yeah. Am I on a new machine? Oh, I've got code before. Weird. Anyway, it's come up. It's come up, so that's good. Okay, cool. So we've got code. Go back to here. So, sorry about this. Might want to stop and restart the video, Jim.
npm start.
Normally I set this up now before I joined, but I was running late tonight, so apologies everyone. But here we are, finally. We have our R node, we've got our RGov interface, and I shall also bring up the tutorial. RDev, RGov, is that tutorial? Oh, there it is. I think we'd done sending, and we might have done the next thing. Oh, maybe we hadn't. No, that's new. I think. Wait a minute. So beginners tutorial sending. Oh, we must have done it. I don't remember all that at X1 and everything. Do you?
What? Oh, these ones.
Yeah, not seen that before.
I don't remember it. It's too long ago. Too much code in my head.
Shall we read and write? Sorry, shall we just read through to remind ourselves?
Yeah, sure.
From begin, I'll read it out. Stop me if you want me to. I'll go through beginners, sending, receiving, names and processes, because I think we've got as far as send and peak. But it's been so long, I think we could all benefit from half an hour just reading through. Yeah.
Okay.
So, okay, we know about visual code. We know about, okay, so you can run a local node. I think I can jump all that. So sending, hello world, we know about sending. We've definitely done that. Using other channels. Okay, so let's read this bit because it seemed to look a bit different to what I remembered. So using other channels, you can actually send messages on lots of channels, not just result. Okay, yeah, the result will be the first name introduced when we explore read only. For deploys on our chain, we use a special name for results, any name that to get the result of a deploy. More on that later. This looks new to me. Anyway, a new result, rando channel in rando channel. This won't be on screen. So right, okay, so certainly, now what is it about the first channel, Kirill? Can you remember? There's something special about it, isn't it?
Is this the first channel?
Yeah, so when you do a new something.
Honestly, I don't remember what's the first channel.
Yeah, no, neither do I. I'm wondering if I've got it written down.
But it says there it should be std out.
Yeah,
Is it?
It
Oh,
might.
no, deploy is deploy ID. So for deploys on our chain, we use a special name for results. Oh, we need to fix this results.
I'll be reading through this while you do the fix.
Okay.
Introduced as well while you're there, Kirill. The result will be the first name
here. I can't find it from here. On display screen because of a special purpose. Are you reading from rholang.github. Oh no, our chain. Okay.
That's good, yeah. So where do the other channels go then? Nowhere, not yet. Tell me if you want me to go back or scroll up. Why hasn't that? I thought I could explore. Oh, wait a minute. I want localhost, right? Do I need to connect to MetaMask as well? I can't remember. Oh yes, later.
What else should I fix?
So I've noticed there's a few typos. So introducers should say introduced. Results should say results.
First name introduces when we explore it
Yeah,
on.
the S should be a D. The result will be the first name introduced when we explore read only. For deploys on our chain, we use a special name for results.
Okay.
And then look, I'd keep it open for a second. I'm trying to get to my MetaMask actually. Now, how do I connect to select an account in MetaMask? I need to do that, don't I? Is that right?
Let me see your screen.
So I've tried to explore this, but it doesn't know. Well, it should know it's connected to my local R node, but do I still need? But to do
Select an action.
I mean, if I do deploy, there we go. Now, I'm not
You need
sure.
to select an action. No.
Whoa, right. What does that say?
It's empty. You need to select an action.
Yeah, I want to cancel. Oh, I see. Yes. So I need to do that and click deploy.
Yeah.
And then I get that. But can I how can I know that that's not my real Rev account?
Well, it's on your local node, and your local node can't. Yeah, just try it. It wouldn't. Wouldn't spend your revs. The real revs, I mean.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And you can click on MetaMask.
Where can I click on MetaMask? Right, okay, so I didn't get the result on the screen on a deploy. If you do an explore, it's not working. Why is that?
Click on the puzzle piece.
Click on what?
Click on the puzzle piece on the upper right side of your screen on your browser.
Thank you, yeah. Click here.
Yeah.
Demo account. There we go. Right, that looks better. So,
yeah. So go to the action again and check your inbox.
what, check balance or check inbox?
Check balance, yeah. Check balance.
Yeah, so I go to, I haven't connected a wallet. Right. My RDev address, connect wallet. Oh. I've forgotten everything, mate. So how do I get this? I copy that address, right? And then I paste that there.
Well, you click on connect to a wallet and it should do it for you.
Right. It hasn't, I don't think. Something's not operating correctly, is it?
Can you delete the thing you pasted in the field and try connect to wallet again? Okay, yeah. Now you can deploy. Should show you your balance.
Sorry, it's amazing, isn't it? I was doing so well a few weeks ago. I've forgotten a lot. Memory like a sieve. I'm sorry. What have you been up to anyway?
More of the same, really. Kubernetes. More no
Cool.
data deploy.
This is weird. And I should just be able to explore, right? Not connected to anything. I should just be able to click explore. Oh,
Oh, okay. It's
that worked.
yeah, because it's public, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it should be explore.
But if I wanted to deploy, I should be able to do that as well, right? And spend some rev by signing it.
No, because you're not deploying anything. You're simply consuming. You're not.
Yeah.
This is public information. You're not changing. You're not modifying anything.
Yes. And even if I did this, oh, not that. So if I grab this from here, we know it's not going to be on screen. But if I do control,
if you were to send me a rev, it should be deploy.
Yeah. But if I was just doing that, how come I can't explore? Has that explore worked? It doesn't look like it. Whereas if I do a deploy on this, I think it'll let me.
Maybe because you're right, you're sending stuff to a channel.
Yeah. I see what you mean. Okay, so that appeared to work because it's come back with a deploy ID, right? And it didn't show on screen because it's this channel. If I change it to this channel and I redo the deploy, it's a good way of testing it. I think this will now, right, this won't be on screen. Oh, I need to sign it. Whereas I think when I do explore, it's simply not working, but I could be wrong. So it makes sense. Let's do something that should return a value to the standard out. Okay, so the deploy didn't, but explore did. Okay, that's weird. So actually explore is working, right? Hi there. So we'd expect, right, so we'd expect explore to work, and it is. I would also expect, because I've connected to my wallet at localhost, to now be able to deploy this same code. And if I sign it with my 1 billion rev, surely I can afford that transaction.
Well, it's just a lookup. It wouldn't have anything to deploy.
Okay, so what you're saying is when the engine processes, if there's nothing to deploy, it'll just look it up on the local node. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah. You don't modify names.
Right. But what about here, where I'm sending something to a name? So here, and I'm just going to make it simpler. I'm going to change that into result. Why, when I click deploy, do I now get nothing back?
Well, you should get the result. You should get the result back.
Yeah. So I've just signed for deploy, and it's come back empty. No data at deploy ID.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
Let's not worry about it because it's not why we're here, right? We can worry about our node later, but it doesn't help us execute.
Result. Let me start the node on my.
Thanks.
On my.
I'll continue reading. Oh, do you know how I see the channel in tuple space? That was the other question stroke criticism I'd got of this. So it says, make sure your message is sitting in tuple space. Fine, that's what this is, right? You should see some text like this, but I'm not seeing that at all.
Well, it's in the logs.
Ah, got you. So I'd have to, yeah. So that should probably be described. If we might as well fix this documentation while we're here, right?
Can you open another window, another terminal window?
Sure. Yeah. Or can I do background process?
Oh, I don't know what you mean.
I think I can do, is it Control Z, VG, and then I can, it's still running, and I can do CD, where are the logs? ETC logs.
Oh, no. No, it's not etc. Can you do ls? Because I can't remember it either.
Sure.
I think it should be in Bootstrap. No, should be in Bootstrap.
Might be. Log.
Log.
Good work. So presumably,
Yeah, do a deploy. Oh,
yeah.
a tail. Do a tail minus f star.log.
Tail minus f star dot log. Yeah.
Yeah. And do a deploy.
A deploy or an explore.
Deploy.
So we're going to debug our R node now. Is that right?
Yeah.
There you go. Receive deploy data. Right. So it's there, just as you said it would be. Propose is finished. No data at deploy ID. Okay, well, there wouldn't be because it'll have generated this deploy ID as an unforgeable name or an unknown forgeable name. Yeah. So that actually isn't a problem. That is just what it's returning as data from the deploy ID. And it hasn't written this out on deployment because
When you did this last time, it showed the result.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I think if you do it again, it might show the result. Can you do a deploy again?
Uh-huh. The feeling it won't, just because I've already done it a couple of times. But I don't know why it doesn't. I agree. I would have thought result is the first name, so it gets redirected to standard out, which should come back in this box, right?
Yeah.
And it's not doing
explore.
Yeah, explore works.
So when you're reading it, okay, one is writing and the other one is reading. Simply reading.
Okay, so it just added a line to the log, but nothing on deploy. Whereas when we did, on explore, it added this line, which is fine. I'm pretty sure if I will have a third line here under the propose, if I click explore again. So that I clicked it again. Oh, I'm wrong. So it's written nothing to the log, and that presumably.
So basically when you write to the result.
Yes, it has. It's just added that.
So a deploy basically says write to the tuple space, but you're not writing to the tuple space. You're writing to result, which is what was result?
Isn't result a channel or a name?
Yes, but it's supposed to.
And therefore, it's stored in the tuple space, but redirected to standard out. No,
I don't think result is stored in the tuple space. It's what it's returned by your code, as the it's what's returned from your code to the to whatever your action is. It doesn't write anywhere.
I was thinking that the tuple space
it returns to the client. So basically, if you have a credit card and you spend some money, that means you have to write to the tuple space, but the confirmation of that transaction is written to result, and it's returned to the client. It's returned to your post terminal.
Yeah, but I thought it would create a key value pair where the key is called result and the value is whatever is in result. Sorry, let me put it back.
Result, it's called result because it's the result of your code.
You see, the way I'm understanding these variables is that they're channels, and that the channels, so the channels will be created as a key value pair in the tuple space. So we're sending on results. So
Not all of them. Hey, David.
Yeah. Hey, Kira. Hey, Rich. I'm sorry I'm late.
It's all right.
Right. How are you?
Yeah, I'm cool. I just fell asleep for a minute.
Thanks. We're a bit well. I'm a bit confused, David. I'm back on the rholang tutorials, and we've ended up back on this page, which has been rewritten slightly. I've started up my R node in the developer interface environment, and I don't think it's working how either of us expect. So we're trying to just discuss what's going on. So I don't know if you can spend 5 minutes, perhaps, just taking a look and helping us out.
Yeah, I can see the code, that new results, random channel, and results. Yeah, what else?
Well, that's it really. If I click explore, you can see that it's written out the message. If I click deploy, I've connected to my wallet, so that's here, and I can sign the deploy. And Carilla's kindly taken me to the log, so we can see on this log, which we're tailing now on my local R node, single R node instance, it should go through. I don't know why it hasn't.
It should go through. How do you mean?
Sorry, it should start producing the logs. Sorry, I apologize. I seem to have messed that up.
Look at your chat, your Zoom chat. So I got this from the tutorial.
Yeah.
You see what it says?
Yeah. Fair point. Okay, so I'm learning. So it looks like you're right, Kirill. But I'm still struggling to understand what's going on. So I'm imagining that'll say, if I explore, that should say I'm on the screen. And channel one. Sorry?
So explore shouldn't work here. But you can test. No, it shouldn't. I think what it should, because you're writing to the tuple space.
Channel one's going to.
Result is supposed to print out on the screen, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what's happening. Result is printing out on the screen. So then if you do a deploy,
I won't touch that this time. See? Right, so it's got the code, it's deploying. And it'll be, this is the bit we're confused at, David, is why we're potentially getting nothing back, because I'd expect to get I'm on the screen back here, just like you did with the deploy. And we're getting nothing. So why is that?
Because nothing was actually sent. So that's why you're getting no data deploy ID. So there was no data that was sent.
But didn't we send this data? Then we send this process.
We only wrote to these channels. We only wrote to the channel, so we're not displaying anything back.
So how come on an explore we get I'm on the screen, but on a deploy we get nothing back? That's what I don't understand.
Because basically explore is just for you to take a look at the data, but a deploy is actually a transaction. Explore is not really a transaction. It's just for us to look at.
Is explore peeking ahead or peeking at the channel?
Something, it's similar to the way peek work. So explore is just simply you just want to see what is on the what is in the code, or you want to see the result of the code.
See, so if you do an explore, you will get the data stored in the first channel you declare. And if you do a deploy, you won't get that redirect, that peek ahead, that look at the first channel.
Deploy doesn't peak.
I see. Thank you. Kirill, I think you already knew that, didn't you?
Say again?
So I think what we're saying is, if you do an explore of a process, then essentially it'll run the process. Well, no, it'll simulate running the process on your local R node. It won't actually store it in the tuple space. It'll sort of emulate it.
It would run the code, but it wouldn't make changes. Yeah,
exactly. And in doing that, it would then say, what's the first channel you've declared, which is result, and it would return standard out.
I don't think it works that way. Let's try that. Put chan 1 as the first. Let's see if it works that, because I don't think it works that way.
Okay.
Like let chan 1 be the first, so we could see if it's a.
Yeah, the first one is always the result.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Thank you, both of you. I think we've got there, and the computer's always right, and it was user error on understanding on my part, but it's working as we expect. The next question is, can we see this in the tuple space on a deploy, I guess, or even so we're tailing the log. So Kirill, how would we see this message? Do you know?
Good question. No.
So how
This is. Sorry, David. Say again.
I wanted to get Richie's question.
So my question. So when we read through this, we've now done this. Thanks for answering my questions. But the place we're now reading these lines here. It says the place where messages sit in the meantime is called the tuple space. Make sure your message is sitting in the tuple space. You should see some text, something like this. So I'm wondering how and where we can see what is in the tuple space.
It's in the log, in the R node log.
Yeah, that's what Kirill just said. So I should try and do that. So I'll come up here. Where will I see it then? If I redeploy and I sign that, then we'll see the deploy happening, right?
Yeah, you can see the code there.
Yeah.
But the other thing is a representation of the code. It's the types.
Yeah.
Like you want to see the entire data.
Yeah, I want to see this really. Can I see this somehow?
If you want to see that, then you'd have to. We could actually pass that as the data that is returned to the interface. So maybe to just give me a minute. Let me take this call.
So Kirill.
Yep.
I'm thinking as a new. I mean, it'd be nice to know how to see this from my own peace of mind. But the reason I'm banging on about it is if you're a newbie coming to this page, which I'm pretty sure has changed, probably for the better, but I don't think this bit is right yet. Because if you're a newbie, it says, make sure your message is sitting in the tuple space. Good instructions, but how? You know, you've shown me that it should look like this. You've told me to make sure it's there. And I'm sat here going, well, how the hell do I do that? So it's less that I'm bothered about solving this now for me. I was just saying, David, I think the documentation doesn't read well at the moment because it tells us messages sit in this tuple space. Then it instructs us to make sure our message is here and shows us what it, and I'm like, well, how do I see it?
It's correct. What it actually stated, probably the it's not well explained, but it's actually correct because the tuple space for our chain is similar to the data store. So that's actually what the tuple space is. So the message is actually in the tuple space. If we want to see it, we need to send the entire data store to the interface rather than just a part of the data, because everything here, this message that we can see here it's everything that is inside of the data store. So we'll have to send the entire storage rather than just a particular message.
Yeah, got you. So it's got rando channels stored. And I understand that now. So this is actually what the tuple space looks like.
This is what it will look like. It's not exactly what it won't, because ours will be a little bit different from this.
Okay. It's quite interesting. I sort of follow it.
So if another way we could check that is, rather than using the interface, we could run the rholang code from our terminal. So I think it should show the data store if we actually run it from our terminal.
Okay, can I do it from here or? Oh, I see. So if I Control C tail in the log. You mean from here?
Yes. So if we create a file, a rholang file, and then no, we don't want to create that in the log. We don't want to create that in the log. No. So don't you have a directory for testing?
I'm afraid I don't, but we can fix that. So here's my home. So make the row test. Yeah.
Yeah.
What shall I call it? Tuple space test.
.row.
.row. Thanks. Test tuple space. Or look. Yeah. Peak. Is it peak? What we're going to do? Might as well be precise.
Maybe peak.
Yeah. Peak at tuple space .row. Okay. And then I need to presumably copy and paste this data in, do I? This text.
Yeah, but you need to be in insert mode.
Thank you. Yeah, I am that bad, David. I work on Windows, so you're working with a Microsoft Muppet, I'm afraid. Right, so I now have a peek at tuple space.row. How can I actually execute that from the command line?
How do you execute codes on the command just escaped my mind. So let's go to the documentation. I think it's somewhere inside the documentation where they listed out the various ways you could run rholang.
Commands for our node.
Let's our node now.
That might be our node.
Not there.
Deploy a rholang contract.
No, we don't have to do this. We don't have to do this. We just want to see the results. Let's try an eval.
Thank you. Yeah, good thinking.
Let's try an eval.
Seem to like that. Is that because I've not got Scala installed, or?
I don't think so. Take out the .row. Oh, how do you do that again? I know it's just read it's
Is there a way to dequote the file?
how do you mean?
Look inside it or something. Like dollar eval or I don't know, I'm guessing.
I don't think. Are you on Windows?
I am, but I'm on I'm on, what you're looking at here is a Windows subsystem for Linux. So
Okay, WSL, right? Okay.
yeah, this is Ubuntu, yeah.
Okay. Just search through the documentation. Let's see if we're going to find the command for that. Just let's search by the side there.
Here?
No. I mean the scrolling bar. Let me look for it.
Sure, thanks.
Yeah, I think I found it.
Cool. Thanks, mate.
Where?
Deploy it's in the chat.
Top.
But I don't know where the private key is in Rich.
I mean,
Node.
for this one now, this is actually to deploy the command. We just want to have a view of the tuple space. I don't think we'll have to do this to take a look at the tuple space. I know that there's a command that is used to just evaluate a rholang data. There's a command for that. I'm trying to remember the command. It's been a while.
Yeah, don't worry.
While I used that. Oh, wait. I saw something. Wait, type that again. Wait, let me see. Just wait, you have let's go to this beginner's tutorial where you have the RChain clouds.
This one.
Cool. Where you have RChain cloud, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, so scroll. No, don't go to the RChain cloud. Just scroll down a bit. I wanted to see something. Scroll down.
So this is
Yeah,
what we've
look at what I'm saying. Wait, look at this. Look at this. So if we read there, it said there are two modes to run rholang relay, repel and eval. With repel, okay, so I think it's repel.
Oh, it says with eval you're running a .row file.
Yeah,
So
it's
eval was supposed to work, so that's why I'm surprised. But let's try repel.
Yeah. So you're right, it didn't appear to like eval. So let's try repel.
Yeah, so Explorer is eval.
Yeah, I'm just wondering whether you need to do it like that.
No, I don't think so. But let's try that. Let's try that. But repel is obviously it's obviously not found on your.
No. Let's just grab this code then again. Go back to this and just paste.
Okay, let's try something. Let's try do an ls. Do an ls. Let's see.
Yep, it's eval and the file name. Node eval and the file name. That's all you need.
Oh, we tried that. I'll try it with a dot in case it doesn't know where we are. Oh, no execute or
No, rnode eval. It's rnode.
That's what I've done wrong. rnode. Sorry, Kirill.
Yeah, that's the one.
Nice work, guys.
I can't see that. What does it say?
Even I'm struggling. It's on my box.
Unimplemented method.
Result for peek at tuple space dot row error unimplemented method not found. Let's just check the file because I'm quite capable of having messed that up in by. That looks okay, though, doesn't it?
Can we check that up on? Can we use VS Code for that? I really cannot see what's written.
Yeah, sure. So where do I need to go to terminal? Yeah.
Just go back to. I mean, I wanted to see the code.
Okay. road test. That's the code that I've got, which I think looks right.
Okay, let's try that out. Let's try that out again.
Okay, so then we want to, I don't know where it's gone. So it's R node eval peak at tuple space dot row, yeah. And I'm getting that result from peak at tuple space dot row, error unimplemented, method not, is it because REPL, does it do a REPL or something under the covers?
Eval is part of REPL.
It's not case sensitive, is it?
No. It's actually small case. So perhaps this error, what this error tells me is maybe in this version of our node, eval was taken out of REPL because that's what it actually looks like.
Okay.
Unimplemented method not found.
Yeah.
REPL. So another way we could check the tuple space, although it's going to take longer, is we could actually this what you have here doesn't look like the latest version or the version of RGov I have. So we could actually use the version of RGov I have, then send a raw data. Let me see if I could push my code, my RGov current code. So
If you're happy to help us through this, David, I'm happy to learn, because it's all, you know, you could say it's frustrating. I'm sure it is for you too, but for me, it's quite exciting because I don't know Linux, so I don't know any of this. So I'm certainly happy if you're happy to push your code.
yeah, the entire rholang ecosystem is still bare bones. So a lot of things.
Yeah.
It's just fuzzy. The reporting of some things doesn't just work correctly just yet.
But there's no better way to immerse yourself in tech than to struggle with RChain on open source when you don't know any of it, right? It's well, there probably is a better way to learn, but I feel I'm picking up a lot by experiencing it.
Yeah.
So where am I looking? Am I?
Let me just commit
Yeah,
it.
sure.
Okay, so go to GitHub. Are you already on GitHub?
I am, I think, though I'd never use it. So I've got an account somewhere.
No, I meant in your go back to your terminal, please.
Sure.
Then go to RGov directory. Do a git pull.
Is that right?
Yeah, right.
Cool.
Okay.
Did I get?
Those are just actions that we developed last time.
Oh, cool. Well done, guys.
Okay, so check out to voting data.
Who? Sorry, David.
Like git checkout voting data.
All one word like that.
No, dash data.
Okay.
Like that?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Enter.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just do a git stash.
right. So that's stashed my current work, which I'm not bothered about. And then I can do, it'll enable me to do that.
Okay, so we'll
Right.
switch to a new branch. So refresh your running R node. Your running interface, your RGov interface.
How do I do that? Sorry.
Like in your browser, like just go back to your browser.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So and then it should look different, right?
Yeah.
So reloaded, it should have. Control that.
Okay, so we already have the changes. Yeah, we already have the changes. So go to voting interface.
Go to what, sorry?
Go back up, go back to the navigation bar. Voting interface. This isn't supposed to display this way. You can see the voting interface there.
Should I close it and do an npm start again?
No. Just press the voting interface button. You can in your top right.
Oh, sorry. Hadn't seen it. Yeah, got it. Right, yeah.
So connect wallet. Go back up. Connect MetaMask.
Sorry, I've got you're on screen, chat's on screen. Let's get that out of the way. And then sorry, connect MetaMask, yeah.
So open your browser console. Open up your browser console.
Is that F11 or something?
That's Shift Control I.
Thanks.
Okay. So check your console. You can see console there. Yeah. Oh, okay. I see what the problem is. Okay. You and your I was supposed to give you my own version of this, my own snapshot of Arnold, because when you connect your rev address, you're supposed to be able to view the entire ballot. So I wanted you to just make some changes to the code. So instead of viewing the entire the ballot alone, we would see the entire tuple space and all the block data and every other stuff.
Wow.
So what we're going to do now is, if we still want to go ahead with this, I would have to send you my own snapshot so you could run the snapshot. So are we still going ahead with this?
It's up to you. I would like to, but if it's going to be too much effort for reward, I understand if we do something different.
I believe it's too much effort.
That's fine. In that case, we won't. So what do we do instead? Carry on. Ignore this. We just move over it, right? I know the tuple space exists. I know that our chain is in development and therefore the ecosystem is a bit flaky, and you know you need to be expert at the technology to have a chance, and I'm not. So I just skip over this for now, right?
Yeah.
And because we know that in my current version of our node, which I believe wasn't updated, although I've now updated to the new RGov environment, but that's fine, presumably. So, but this looks a little bit different to before, right? Where's my, I can click on developer interface and then it looks the same. Nice work, guys, and probably David in particular. I think I've seen what you've done there. And then I can explore. I understand why I'm getting nothing back from deploy, and it's painful as ever, but we're essentially going through this. I know what's happening when you write basic rholang. I just, it's been a few weeks, so I've forgotten. I know that you can receive a message. We've looked at com events before, blah, blah, blah. I'm just refreshing my memory to get hopefully down to send and peak. So I think we looked at all this in the past. Can you remind me what this syntax means?
What syntax?
The less than or equal. So this for comprehension is
a persistent read.
Persistent read, and persistent read means it reads from the channel and then takes the data away. No, it means it reads from the channel and leaves the data in coffee shop. Is that right?
No,
I think
it reads from coffee shop. No, this is a peak. No,
it's
it's
a persistent read.
There are actually two different styles of syntax in rholang. Maybe I do need to go up. Let's there's no point carrying on if I haven't.
Just a second, please.
Sure.
typos. Receiving.
What exactly are we looking for?
I think I'm all right at the moment. So the pizza shop could use a contract like the one the coffee shop had, but use a persistent for instead of a contract. Try to write the entire thing from scratch. So this one is, it tells me, yeah, which send will produce a COM event with for message null. Yeah. Okay, so we're done with sending, and I'm going on to names and processes. I can't remember if we'd finished this. We were around here, Kirill, I think, in the tutorials. Message relay, and now let's write message along. Right, okay, so yeah, so now we're using parse to run things in parallel, and we went through that. Instead of printing it, Bob will send the message. Yeah, okay, so fine. What is that star? That's dequoting. Did you notice this? All right, okay, so this is dequoting the message, the name message into the process, and therefore you're sending a process to the channel Bob. Channels and processes. I'm all way. Yeah, okay, so that's fine. I don't quite get this receiver name. I thought you received a process as well, Kirill.
Just a moment.
Sure.
Fixing something.
Don't worry, you carry on. Tell me when you're ready.
Yeah. New. Sorry, what were you saying?
1 sec. I'm just answering these for myself. I think I'm good. Which of these is equivalent to Bob's phone? It would be that, I believe. Oh, I'm wrong. It's that. So that is quote and dequote. Oh yeah, in order to get back to the ground term process, Bob's phone. Yeah, so I'm all right with that. So I'm up to there. What was I asking? Sorry, I was asking this. So the big thing to remember in rholang is we send processes and receive names. It's this receives names bit. I thought you sent and received processes. So in what sense do we receive a name?
Can't answer
So
that.
in this case, message is a name.
Sorry, David?
I said message is a name since that's what we're receiving.
Yeah. And what's this actually saying? This for comprehension, because the syntax, I did get my head around it a few weeks ago and I've forgotten. So I know it's not a for loop. I know it's a for comprehension. I can't actually remember what a for comprehension is. And therefore, I don't really know how to.
I thought that's what we looked at. That's a receive.
That's a receive. So which channel's doing the receiving? Message or Alice?
Alice is doing the receiving.
So Alice is receiving the process stored in message. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. Happy with that. Well, by the way, when did this get? Because I think it's changed, unless my memory is even worse than I thought. Has this text been updated recently?
How do you mean?
Do you know if this has been updated recently, or is it still Josh's original?
I read them.
Fair enough. Maybe it's my memory. I feel it's changed since we were reading through it a couple of weeks ago. I was just wondering who'd updated it. Was it Bill or Jim or one of you guys? But that's fine. Instead of a linear telephone game where each player passes the message to the next, let's add a branch in the game. So now Bob will send to Charlie, but Bob will also send to Dawn. Each branch can be as long as you want, but at the end of the branch, print the message to result. Right, okay, we could do that exercise, but I'm bored of being stuck this early in the tutorial. So let's carry on to send and peek. David, do you want to stay, or thank you for your help? Do you want to stay and help us, or would you rather drop off?
Sure.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you get fed up, feel free to drop off. Kirill, are you happy for me to carry on reading through until we get to a point where we want to play with something? So okay, so we're now at send and peek. So why send repeatedly? Our pizza and coffee shops were both interested in receiving many messages on the same reusable channel, and we accomplish that with a persistent for or a smart contract, which are the same things apart from when you start thinking of blockchain, but we delayed the explanation of that till later. I'm going to go with what the text says. I'm not going to worry about it. So, okay, so That's fine. We know where we are. So now let's carry on. So an air traffic control tower may be interested in doing just the opposite, sending the same message over and over. The controllers of the tower want to record a message containing weather and active runway information once and make it available for any pilot that needs it. That's a nice example. Like the pizza shop, they're busy and can't be bothered to continually resend messages every time a pilot asks for it.
Okay. Can you explain that to me?
So basically, we're now looking at the syntax to send the same message continuously. So you send it, and once it's received, you send it again immediately. So it's a persistent send instead of a persistent receive. Does that make sense?
No.
So I think it's this double bind here, Kirill. Can you see my screen all right?
Yeah.
So I think what it's saying is, on the send to the channel airport info, no wind, runway 11. And then that will sit, I believe, in the, unless I'm mistaken, in the tuple space where the key is airport info and the process is no wind, runway 11. And it'll just sit there and do nothing until a pilot comes in and goes, I want to receive on airport info. And that's what the pilot's doing here. So there's this, when this code executes, when the pilot of the plane sends this code, he will get the info from the channel airport info. So airport info is our key in the tuple space containing this process. So at that point, the result is then sent the info that comes in, which is this process. So that's fine. So we've now put, and ordinarily, if this was a single bang here, then airport info would now be empty or destroyed. I don't know, in the tuple space. Presume it'd be empty, right? Because the process no wind runway 11 will have been sent from here into the name info, and then info will have been dequoted to get you this message and push to result. However, I think because we use a double bang, the moment that info consumes this process, it's sent again, because this smart contract is continually sending it. So airport info in the tuple space, that key will immediately be sent this again. And therefore it's like a persistent send.
So it's sending and sending and sending infinitely?
I think so. Every time, because this is a separate bit of code, right? So I think every time a bit of code comes in and queries airport info, it will consume, and this is not persistent read, right? This is just read. So it will read and consume that value from airport info, making it empty. But because we've got the double bang, exactly as you said, it'll immediately repopulate it. Let's just check what it says now. Persistent send syntax. The control tower just needs a minor adjustment in their code to send persistent. Rather than sending with a single bang, we use a double bang. Confirm for yourself that the original send is still in the tuple space. Okay, so shall we try and do that?
Yeah.
I don't know how though. I mean, all right, it's going to continue to work, but this code is, I don't know, maybe I can delete that and try and read it again. Now it's empty. Oh, that wasn't very convincing, was it? So we know that that's always going to work, but it's suggesting it's a persistent send. How about instead of doing this, we just do no, that won't work.
Persistent syntax. Okay.
Can I do that? No, of course I can't. That's just bad rholang. You have to read doing that. Or maybe I could do that.
So if you do a persistent for, what happens? So if you can do a persistent for,
Yeah, I
as
think
the
I'm.
result,
Let me just tidy up a bit. We're there, aren't we? Right, let's
yeah,
grab
just do persistent for.
that.
Instead of
like
yeah.
that.
Yeah, try it.
So I got in a loop. Have we just created a loop in rholang?
I think we did.
Now that opens a whole new gamut of questions. I almost didn't think rholang could do that.
Is your CPU spiking or memory or whatever?
I don't know if I'd see it because I'm actually on my R node.
Click more details.
I'm lost. Where's my more? Oh, there we are. Yeah. That looks more like it. It's banging away. It's quite a powerful machine, this. So given we're doing next to nothing.
Well, how do you check Ubuntu? Maybe. Oh yeah, monitor that. If it's growing.
Does appear to have done. Yeah. Yeah, because this is recent, right? You can see the rate it's moving 60 seconds. So yeah, it's spiked it.
Yeah, but did it finish?
No, I don't think. No, it's still spinning. Can you see my little?
Yeah.
So presumably, if I kill this,
It's still executing.
I'm going to have to kill it, right? So I killed it, and now.
No, that didn't kill it because it still runs in the background.
Oh, right. So what do I need to do to sort this out?
Yeah, you executed what contract did you execute?
Persistent send and persistent read.
Shouldn't that be like a loop or something? So you have to kill your R node.
Okay, got you. Yeah. So Control C here to get a command line, and then kill. Is it kill -9 or let's try and be graceful because I need to learn. Where's my PS AUX?
You want to check the running process. Why not just check the R node log and see what's happening there?
Yeah, that could be interesting, couldn't it? CD. Is it in RDev Bootstrap?
No, like the log actually inside the VS Code.
Sorry. Do you mean
the VS Code log?
Oh, the VS Code log. I
Yes.
didn't run it from VS Code. I ran it from the developer interface.
Like, I thought I saw you checking your log.
Yeah, you did. Kirill showed me. I think Bootstrap ls cd log.
I thought you already had that open in one window.
I think I killed it because I've only actually got the one window, period. I've got this terminal in VS Code open, and then I've just got this single Windows Linux subsystem for Windows. I don't know how to have multiple windows, but I can tail it again. Now Now, what was it? Tail minus f star dot log, I think.
Yeah.
And then what are we seeing? Not a lot, I don't think. Shall I just kill the R node?
Is this your log?
I believe so. So it doesn't seem to be outputting anything extra, right? Looks a bit odd.
Kill our
Yeah, let's just restart our node and see if that's what's going.
Yeah. So
stop. Dots / stop. I guess. Are you no? Go to Bootstrap. Yeah. CD dot.
right. So we're back and we're clean. And I won't run it again because otherwise we'll have to do that again. But just for David's benefit, this is what we ran. So what we were trying to do was confirm for ourselves that the original send is still in the tuple space. Now, as we've already...
I don't think we'll be able to check that using the developer interface.
I see, because we'd have to look at the tuple space, which is proving difficult for us, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm with that. So let's just carry on. Yeah, thank you. So what we did, by the way, was, yeah, we created a loop. So if we could just discuss, why does that create a loop? So we've now got a persistent send and a persistent read, and it hung. And I don't quite understand why. I thought it would just keep outputting to result no wind runway 11, but then result is redirected to standard out. So I thought it just, I understand why the program didn't terminate, but I don't understand why it didn't. Because it didn't terminate, it didn't return the result, and that's why it looped. I think I understand. I think David understands because he said immediately that I'd create a loop. Kirill, do you understand?
Yeah, I understood. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. I didn't, but I think I have now. So we can just carry on. Okay. Modify your code so that a second pilot also receives the information. Still the send persists. Okay, so I guess info 2, right? So a second pilot would be that. And then we can just repeat this code. So pilot 1 receives the info. Pilot 2 receives the info. And in fact, this is a sort of confirmation. Are we agreed that that should work?
Why don't we send info result info?
Is there a way to do and rather than?
No.
Like,
You
why don't we make that info 2?
Sure. Yes, that makes sense.
Then you have to change it on line 12 also.
Sorry, my mistake. Thank you. Right, so it's only going to one of them, of course. So it's not
you're not sending anything on airport info 2.
Oh, I'm not. You're right. So this should just be airport info. Good point.
But why doesn't airport info
There
continue
we
to
are.
send?
So, sorry, Kirill.
Why doesn't airport info continue to send?
It
Now
does.
you're reading. Now
This is,
you're reading airport info from 2 places.
yeah. But the point is the only way it could have been sent to result twice is if this thing did a persistent send. So it kind of sort of proves.
No, because
Because
on a chat there can be multiple listeners on a channel.
Yes, I know. But look, if I make that a non-persistent send, there are multiple listeners, but only the first one to get there consumes it. So we get a single output. If I make it a persistent send, then the moment it's emptied by whichever one got there first, it's repopulated, and then the second one can get it as well. So when I do it there, I get 2. Nice. I think that.
Okay.
I mean, it's crazy, isn't it? You spend ages writing the most simple bit of code ever, and then you're like, why was that complicated?
What would that be useful for? Is what I'm. What's the use case of this?
Well, exactly what they've described. I am an airport input. I'm an airport information broadcaster on the control tower, and as the pilots come in, they read from me because I'm a publishing service, Reuters News and websites. So Reuters News, you can go to it, I can go to it, David can go to it. We all get the info. Whereas if it was a single send and consume, then whoever gets there first gets the info and everyone else gets blank.
Yeah, I understand now.
Cool. Yeah, I think I do as well. Carry on.
Yeah.
I've still not got this 4 comprehension syntax, but that's because I never look at this except when I turn up here. I wish I had more time because
This is quite a useful session.
Good. I'm glad it is, and it is for me as well. So if you're finding it useful, let's carry on. So we've just done that. Modify the code so that a second pilot receives the info. Still the send persists. By the way, did you notice we don't need new result in that? Okay, when we don't actually print anything to the screen. No, I didn't. What's it on about? Oh, okay. So it's just saying, I think it's saying you could just have an empty block of, you could just have that maybe, if we're not bothered about printing to screen. Might be wrong. Is that what it's saying? Unexpected error. Well, there's a surprise. I don't know. I'm going to skip over that. It's not very interesting. Of course, we shouldn't, but there's plenty to learn, right? I'm sure we'll all come back to this at some point, or I will anyway. So no, I didn't. Do you understand this line, or shall I move on?
By the way, did you notice the result in? Well, we didn't actually print anything on the screen. I didn't.
I think we leave it. Let's look at this. How many COM events happen in this 4 comprehension? I already know the answer because it's there, but why? Why is it 1? So a COM event is when a send matches a receive. and we're saying for this for comprehension where X receives the process in Y, do nothing or continually send the nil process. And there's only one com event because there's only one time the data that's been sent on Y has been matched with data that wants to receive on X. The rest are just sends or empty processes. So I agree it's one. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay, double checking a message. So persistent sends and receives are very useful, as we just showed, but often normal sends and receives are perfectly good too. Imagine the air traffic controllers want to update the airport information when the weather changes. Yeah, if they've got a persistent send, they can't update. So a better solution is to use a normal send and then require each pilot who receives the message to put it back on the channel. Okay, and presumably this is what that code does. So that makes pretty perfect sense. So looking at the code, we've got our result channel and we've got the airport info. It's saying no wind on runway 11. Pilot receives the info, and then to do, the pilot must put the info back. And then at a later date, and then airport control tower or whatever later records a new message, wind not free, wind runway 11. So that's fine. And we've got this to do bit, which basically is just presumably send to airport info. It'd just be this, I would imagine. So where you just copy that line and put it in.
Yeah, but
there.
you're sending to a single pilot.
Yeah. So this is the single pilot receiving the info, and it's saying he must then, because it's a standard send, an unpersistent send, he's consumed this message at this point. On this com event, he's consumed the message, which leaves airport info empty. So what it's saying is you need to resend it here. And if you do that, then the next pilot can come in and consume the message. Right, I think we can do that. So let's try and do it. I would actually say that before it spits out the result, but maybe it doesn't matter. I'm surprised it's below result. I would have put it above on the grounds that, but I think if he's received it, he's used it, he's got it in his own result, and then he's also put it back. But of course, it shouldn't be hard coded. He should send to airport info the actual information that he's received. So he should send that, which I think you can do. And then if that worked, a second pilot should be able to receive it. And we should get the thing printed out twice. So there's pilot 2. Pilot 1 receives the info and puts it back. Pilot 2 receives the info and perhaps doesn't put it back, which would be it because they're dishonest. I would expect there that we get 2 outputs. And if we comment out this line, we'll only get 1. So let's have a look. So explore. Okay, what have I done? Why have I got a syntax error?
You're missing a par
Thank you.
after pilot 1. No, not there.
Yeah. I'm with you. I don't know if I'm missing a par there as well, but I'm definitely missing one there.
But Also, I think on the, yeah, also there.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'll try it, yeah.
So we only,
Yeah, but you're not outputting it as a result.
there you go. Oh no.
Okay. But the third one, ATC later records a new message. That one isn't. That one isn't
Needed.
displayed. It's not sent to result.
Yeah, I'm going to get rid of that because that could be execution order. Right, now why are we not getting 2 here? Because this is the key thing, isn't it? We want to get 2 lines in the result to show that pilot 2 has received the same info.
What did you delete?
Oh, I've got or. Can I do an and instead? I don't want a par there. The logic is send this to result and do this. And I've got a par, which is an or. Is there like that? Is that valid syntax? No.
You have to do a par.
I don't want to. How do you execute 2 events in rholang then? Can you not? Surely you can.
How do you what?
So I want to execute this, and then I want to execute that afterwards. What I don't want to do is have them run in parallel. But it's only by putting the par in that I can get it. Yeah, you see, I'm getting in here because of this par here. I'm getting undeterministic behavior because it either does that or it does this.
No, it's not or. It's at the same time.
How come I got 2 results for us one time then? And now I'm just getting 1 all the time.
Oh, can you return the code before? App info, airport info. Yeah, because you don't send the other message on. You send the same message to airport info.
Yeah, that's what I want to do, isn't it?
Yeah, but there's nobody to. Oh, okay. So there's a result. I don't get it either.
I would have expected this code to give me 2 lines here. Maybe, wait a minute, they can be executed in any order. So maybe we need both, to be honest. Now I've got, oh yeah, because I haven't got my blasted par. That might fix it. There you go.
Why?
So either this can run first or this can run first. So if I haven't got that and this runs first just by chance, it consumes this message and then it leaves that empty. And therefore I get this. And it must just be so happening that every time I'm running that, I'm going through this code first. If by any chance I run through this code and then I run through this code, I should get 2 lines. And I did see that once. That's why I keep there. See it? You see it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you make that deterministic? Isn't deterministic behavior desirable in some cases?
Absolutely. That if every pilot is honest, then it's guaranteed to do the same because the message is always being put back.
David, do you know how to?
Yeah.
Do you know how to make it deterministic?
Like for you to know exactly which one will be returned.
Yeah.
Don't think you can.
But
Yeah, you can.
We're actually sending one message. to. So a way we could test that is by creating another channel. Then rather than
Add a channel to new.
Sorry, yeah.
so rather than on line 12 using airport info, so we could use airport info 2. So we could actually have a separate message in airport info 2.
Yes. Yeah, well, that is now deterministic in output.
Still the same problem, still non-deterministic.
Yeah. Well, I mean, rholang is right. It by definition, in theory, everything is running at the same time, but in practice, we're often running on a single processor, and therefore it can't possibly happen at exactly the same time. And therefore these parallel processes at the implementation level do act a little bit like ors or the order is like an or. It can do either or on the order. It will do both because it will execute both paths, but you don't know which order it's going to run in, and depending on how you write your code, that can lead to non-deterministic behavior, and that's presumably why writing good rholang is hard, because it's possible, but you have to get really good at it to, we could be here for 5 hours figuring out how to do this simple thing, right? What year or two down the line, we'll just know how to do this and the right way of doing it. And I think that's how you progress to writing good rholang. And ultimately, in the final analysis, a lot of the code you should be thinking of as maths. You should be thinking of it as the row calculus. And when you're thinking in maths and you really understand the syntax of what you're doing, and the implementation has moved on so that it really is as solid as Greg's vision, then in theory, it'll be possible to it'll be easy to write good code, because you won't be thinking in terms of airport info, you'll be thinking in terms of the maths of the processing, and it's all there on the page for you. And that in theory is that is the beauty of it. It's just we're not good enough at it yet. I think that's correct. Anybody anything to add or comment?
Nope.
Shall we move on for now and just learn some more syntax as best we can? Or have people had enough?
No. I want more.
Cool. So let's at least get through this peak thing, and I'm happy to do join, and I'd love to get to bundles, even if we save that for next week, but that might be a bit ambitious. But let's carry on. David, are you happy to stay?
Yeah, sure. I was just sending someone a message.
Yeah, no worries. Should we have a 5 minutes, just a quick break, and then we'll get on to peak?
All right. Cool.
Come on. I'll be back in 5.
Okay. I'm here.
Hey guys, are you there?
I'm here.
Not sure if David's there or not. Give him a minute.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, great, cool. Okay, sorry about that. I am now armed with tea, so we should carry on. So one problem with the code above is that a forgetful pilot might not actually put the information back on the channel, as we saw, causing problems for everyone. A better solution would be not to not actually receive the message off the channel in the first place. And that's the solution, isn't it, Kirill, to your question about making it deterministic. So to peek at what's on a channel without consuming it, use the peek operator. And that is shown here. So just peek and get the info, but leave it on the channel. And then later you can record a new message. Anyway, does that overwrite it for old info? Well, let's run that and then try and figure it out.
I'll be right back.
Sure. So we've got a new result, airport info, in doing the normal thing. It's doing a peek here. So it's peeking at airport info, which means it's leaving it on the channel. I think we both understand what's happening there. It's sending that to result, and it'll still be on the channel. If we were to write that code to put pilot 2 in, that would be fine as well. Let's just, yeah.
What peek does is basically it reads whatever's sent to the channel. So if we have 5 messages on the channel, it would spit out the 5 of them at the same time.
Yeah,
that's how I understand it.
I agree. So my only question is, how does this then overwrite? Look, you see, it's printed out wind 3 knots, runway 11, because that ran first. You really don't want that, right?
I don't know.
I suppose you might, but it comes back to your question of determinism, doesn't it? I mean, suppose you wanted pilot 3 to receive the new info, the original info, and the original info, and that is not what happens. It's non-deterministic, right? Because it doesn't do, it might do that, it might run it in order, in which case that would get written to airport info. This guy had received the original info, so would this guy. Then you would update the info, and then this guy would get the new info. But that only happens if these events happen in order, and they don't have to. It might be that this event happens first, and then these 2 events happen. And if that happens, you just get a different order, so people could get incorrect information. Like they're all getting wind 3 knots, runway 11. Yeah, it's undeterministic. So does that mean we didn't do what it wanted us to do, or does that mean that actually the example we're constructing won't work? That's certainly a peak. Okay, I think we just carry on, because I think we understand the syntax. We don't know how to solve the problem of indeterminism, but we've not been asked to. So I think we've got the concept we're being taught, and we've realised it's showing indeterministic results. Would you agree?
Say again?
We're getting indeterministic results from the code that I've written here, but I don't think there's anything wrong with that in terms of the tutorial. In that it's just what it is. So we understand what's happening, right? So we carry on. Agreed?
Not entirely. Not for me, at least.
Go on.
Peek syntax. Send and peek. Right, so we have a persistent send, double checking a message. Persistent sender receives Very useful showed, but often normal sends and receive are perfectly grouped to. Imagine the air traffic controls want to, yeah. So we went through that. How many COM events happen in, and it's one, right? Oh no, it's many. It's many because,
I think
okay.
the answer's one, apparently.
Is it one?
Yeah, but what does this mean? I don't recognise. Greater than send. What does that mean?
Because on my copy, it's clicked on many.
Really?
Yeah.
On mine, it's clicked on one.
Okay,
And
I
I would-
refresh.
Yeah, I would say it is one. It is one, but only if this is a COM event. I don't understand this syntax. Have we ever seen that? Less than equals. Sorry, less than exclamation mark. I think that's a typo, isn't it?
Double checking a message. Okay. So when you do, so when you go to double checking a message, you got two different messages. So you get many COM events from the persistent send.
Do you want to share your screen briefly? Because I'm not with you.
If you go to double checking a message, to that section. Yeah, scroll up.
So one sec, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, yeah.
Scroll up. Up.
You here?
Yeah.
That's
the loop, basically.
Yeah.
When you get the peak. Yeah, that's the loop we did. And you get many COM events.
Yes.
That's okay.
A good point, though. I'm glad you took me back to that. I somehow missed that exercise. But I believe this might be a typo. Is that valid rholang? This X less than exclamation mark Y. That's not right, is it?
It doesn't look right. Try to execute it.
Yeah.
But I think it's I think it should be a peak, no?
There we go. Oh, it's a bit strange. Yeah, I think it probably should. What's the syntax for a peak? Is it double?
A pointy bracket equals. Oh no. Is it?
It's that, isn't it?
Or a double pointy bracket.
Is it that?
Hold on.
Sure.
Yeah, that's a peak.
Yeah. Why? So that's if X peaks at Y and nothing in that, and in parallel Y sends nothing, then
Oh no. That's a persistent.
No, this is a persistent read.
This is a persistent read, but a peak is double pointy quotes and a dash.
Yeah. It doesn't like it. The whole syntax appears to be wrong, and it's something to do with Y. Free variable Y is used twice as a binder.
You need a channel. So create a channel, new Y in. You don't need you don't need this. Maybe just new Y in without the quotes. Try it. But this would also work.
It's returning nothing. But that's what we'd expect, right? Because there's nothing in it. If I change this to quotes hello, then I think we'll get hello. Yeah. That makes sense, right? You send Y hello, and then you peek at it, and it'll keep returning it.
That's a persistent send, no?
That's a peek. Oh yeah, it's persistent send, yes. If I do that, it'll still be okay because it's a peek. If I change it from a peek, it's been consumed.
Oh, this is difficult to understand.
Yeah, I didn't expect that. We're still sending hello on Y, and then we're consuming it once. We're not writing it to be out. That's why. So if I do result by
No, why is the result? Why is the result? It's the
of
first
course
channel.
it is. Yes. I could do it like that though, right?
Yeah, you can replace Y with a. That's not going to work because Y doesn't exist.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think one sec. Sorry, I get that now. Oh, this damned editor. Fuck's sake. Control X, try again, Control V. What I want to do is in the null, I want to, oh, bloody hell. it's a challenge at times.
So basically, a persistent send sends a message when there's somebody there to consume it.
Yeah. That's it, right. So, I was trying, sorry, I really wasn't listening. I was busy fighting with this editor. But what I was trying to do was this. Is that valid, rholang? I think it is. No?
You're missing a curly bracket. I don't think it is valid, rholang, because Y doesn't exist. You need to declare a channel. You need to
Yes,
create a
you're
name.
right. You're right. Thank you. So you do need the new Y in open, and then the for comprehension is in.
You don't need the curly brackets necessarily, but new needs to be lowercase.
Why is that not work? That's a for comprehension with a body, right?
Well, because
What the hell?
you
Sorry.
down.
Yeah, I was trying to just reformat it. I should have known better. Sorry. So what's wrong with that? Because to me that looks valid.
Should be valid.
Surely we've got a new channel Y, which is the first channel, so it should write standard out, and then Y.
Result doesn't exist.
Oh yeah.
But a result wouldn't return anything because it's not the first channel. Yeah.
Right. I don't know what the purpose of all that was really, but there you go. It's this thing, isn't it? We were confirming that we think that this is invalid syntax, which it is, I think. So do we want to correct that and make that?
Not really.
Well,
no,
it should be a comma then, right? So it should either be a persistent read or it should be a peek.
It's a snippet. It doesn't have to be the entire code. It's just
Yeah, but that is actually wrong, isn't it? That should be less than dash.
it's not. It doesn't contain. This example doesn't contain the entire context.
Yeah.
It just asks you whether this would produce COM events.
Yeah, what I'm saying is the place it would produce COM events is here, and this, if the answer is going to be 1, this should be a this should be a non-persistent read, i.e. less than dash, and it isn't.
Yeah.
It's invalid syntax. So I'm not that bothered because I understand it's invalid syntax, but if you're able to correct this documentation, which I think said you were, I think that exclamation mark should be a dash, and then it's. Can you fix that?
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Good man, thanks. I agree, this is a good session, mate. Bit frustrating at times, but we're getting there, right? And we'll just carry on.
Oh, what was the heading of this?
Sorry, it was, so we're on the send and peak, and it's in the peak syntax. It's the exercise at the end of that section.
There should be a single bracket and a dash.
Yeah, I think you fixed it.
Well, on my branch, I submitted a pull request.
I'm rather confused. That is, oh no, yeah, okay, got you. Yeah. I'm with you.
Not going to be fixed immediately. Somebody has to merge it.
Of course, that's fine. Good work. Okay, let's just read this final paragraph, and then we're finally on to joins, which is getting beyond where we've been before. So that's quite nice. So we've solved the problem of forgetful pilots removing the message and forgetting to put it back by teaching them to use peak instead. But this doesn't solve the problem of malicious pilots intentionally taking the data. In reality, we need to enforce that nobody can leave airport info blank, and we'll look at how to do that in lesson 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Surprise, surprise, it'll be when we use unforgeable names. So that makes sense, and we can move on to joins. Yeah. Right, joins. Occasionally a computation can only be made once data is retrieved. That is, messages are received from 2 or more different data sources. Okay, yes, for an AND condition or an OR condition or whatever. Right. For example, you can't tell whether you've won the lottery until you've got your ticket number and the winning number. You can't make change for a purchase until you know the price and the amount tendered. You can't tell who wins a push-up contest until you know how many push-ups each competitor completed. Okay, so we're now going to look at multiple data sources, which is going to use joins. And this is new, mate. Oh, it is to me. I've not used joins before. So rholang has a join operator for exactly this situation. To perform a join.
You have used joins.
Have I? Okay. Thanks.
It's a for loop inside a for loop. Sorry, it's a for comprehension inside of for comprehension. That's a join.
Okay, got you. So perform a join, just use the semicolon character. Okay, so that is, so you're reading from multiple channels basically in a join, yeah?
Yeah.
Right, okay. When you use the join operator, neither message will be received until both messages are available. Okay, rocket launch, sounds exciting. A space exploration company wants to make sure their rocket only launches when both of the 2 flight engineers, Alice and Bob, give the launch command. As an example, Bob would give the go-ahead by sending to Bob launch the command launch. When both engineers give the command, the rocket can be launched. Cool. Consider how this code may be written using the join operator that we just discussed. I think that's fairly straightforward, right? They're just replacing the single read with the single send, right? And once it's sent to the two things, then you can proceed. And this semicolon says only proceed when you've received both. So I'm imagining that'll be the answer. The wrong way, one may have been tempted to solve the rocket problem by first receiving one and then the other command, i.e. like this: listen for Alice, and then inside listen for Bob, and then launch the rocket.
Like I said, a for comprehension inside a for comprehension.
Now I understand what you meant. Thank you. Just like you said, when ready, engineers send their commands and then they both receive one after the other. But apparently that's a bad way to solve it. The problem here is when Alice okays the launch, but Bob hasn't yet. Alice should be able to change her mind, but she cannot. Imagine if she suddenly noticed a problem with the rocket or received some bad news and wanted to abort the launch. Fair enough. When using a join, she can still change her mind because the for won't consume her launch message until Bob's message also appears and is ready to be consumed. That's clever. That makes sense as well. So she could overwrite her launch message with don't launch, and then Bob could send launch, and now you've got don't launch in Alice, which means they both aren't true. So therefore, presumably, yeah, you're going to do it like this, which is what you said was the for comprehension inside for comprehension is a solution, but doesn't allow Alice to change her mind. Whereas this syntax literally will, because the logic of how it works is different.
Wait, so it's different? It's not the same thing?
No. So here, Alice could send launch and Bob has sent nothing. And what that means is you won't get this result. Yeah?
Yeah.
And so therefore, Alice could overwrite sending launch with sending don't launch. And then when Bob sends launch, Alice has sent don't launch, so it still won't launch. So she gets to change her mind. And what it's saying, I'm not sure why, is that if you write it this way, once Alice has said, I get it now, once Alice has said launch, that bit of code is done. And you sat here just waiting for Bob to say launch. And Alice might go, oh shit, I want to change my mind. Well, she can't because you're now here. You're sitting waiting for Bob to send his message. And the moment he does, it launches a rocket. Even if in the meantime, Alice has sent don't launch, it doesn't matter because you're already here.
Okay, I think I figured out how you can write sequentially in rholang.
Is it like this?
It's a so each I think each block would have two channels, and one of the one is for the action itself, whether you're sending code or receiving code or processing code, and the other is return, a return channel.
Do you want to write it in your browser and paste it in the chat?
Well, I can try.
Yeah, give it a go. I'm happy to enjoy my tea.
So basically, message is received on a channel while almost there.
It's all right, mate. I'm looking at something else. Good work.
I don't think there's a way.
No worries.
Wait.
If you want to paste what you've got, you can, but carry on or share your screen and show us.
Yeah. Let me share for a minute.
Sure.
Cool. So this is what I have. So basically, I send these two processes on the same channel. And basically, I want
It's really hard to see your screen.
oh, sorry. Is that better?
Yeah, that's it.
How do I? Okay. Yeah, so this is what I got. Yeah, something like that.
Where is return coming from?
Rep 1, rep 2.
So this should be gone. Yeah, like that.
Okay, let's have a look at that for a sec. What's the underscore again?
Underscore is a placeholder. We don't care about what's going on in ret. We simply care whether it's returned or not.
Okay, let me have a think now that I kind of get that. So it's almost like sending ret to null or reading from ret to null to empty it.
Ret is sort of like a confirmation.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just trying to understand the syntax. Underscore single read from ret. Does that basically empty ret?
No, the point is ret should return something, but we're not going to use it. We simply want to make sure that it's there.
Okay, now let me think again. So thank you.
So
yes, clever. I think I see where you're going with it. And I think I understand why you've got a problem. So I like the way you've used the join to ensure that, that's clever, mate, that lines 4 to 6 execute first. I've understood what you're trying to do, haven't I?
yeah. So you can. This is how you write sequentially. Can we execute this?
I don't think it's, I think you're right. It's how you execute sequentially. I think you might have a problem, but I could be wrong.
Well, yeah. Let's try it.
Sure.
I'm going to paste it and in the chat, and you can use it.
Oh, thank you. That's brilliant.
Node. Or maybe I can execute it because I have this running.
Could you paste it in the chat anyway? It's useful code to have. Maybe we
Yeah.
let's get it working first. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
I need to set up the proper copying. Okay.
You don't need an action.
I don't need an action.
Just explore. Yeah, explore. Right. Didn't expect a syntax error. Don't know what is it. Your final par.
Yeah, that's my final par.
Shouldn't there be another a closing brace?
Yeah.
And this is deterministic.
Ah.
Oh no, it's not. No, it's not. It's not.
I think you've got your 2 for comprehensions correct. It makes sense. I think the problem might be, are you not? Yeah, you have to send step 1 or step 2, and those 2 sends can happen in either order. So if you send Chan exclamation mark step 2 can execute before Chan exclamation mark step 1.
Yes, but this.
But yeah, exactly. But it will definitely execute the first bit of code 456 before 789, which is clever. So you're halfway there in that you know how to execute. You've cleverly worked out how to execute one for comprehension before another. Unfortunately, you haven't yet worked out how to send one channel, send an initial command before the other. Maybe you'd have to wrap it in a for comprehension in the same way. Sort of repeat the logic in 4 to 10 for lines 2 and 3.
Oh, 4 to 10.
Yes, I think 4 to 9 I think is correct, which is to do with how you sequentially use information on the channel. And it's clever what you've done, and it will guarantee that lines 4, 5, and 6 will always execute before lines 7, 8, and 9. The problem you've got is that lines 2 and 3 that sets the thing up can execute in any order. So I think you need to repeat that.
So I don't care which one. I don't care which one of these gets completed first.
Fair enough.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I care that these get executed in the sequence.
And you've achieved that, I'm sure you have, because of understanding the code.
No, I haven't. Look.
Yeah, but that's because, one sec, that's because when it's that, step 2, step 1, Chan exclamation mark step 2 was the first thing that the rholang virtual machine picked up and executed. And then the second thing it picked up and executed was Chan step 1. And then your code did the right thing, because both bits of code, 4 to 6 and 7 to 9, are doing the same thing. You'd have to change what they do in some way. Like, how about in line 8, you replace star message 2 with quotes, I'm here. Humor me. So result exclamation mark star message 2 on row 8. So go to row 8. Yeah, replace that with a string, quotes, hello, I'm here. And I think that will always be second. Oh, or will it always be first? Yeah, it'll always be first. Now, why is that? Because, yeah, it is always printing that string out first. I must admit, I'm a bit surprised. I thought it would always print that string out second. So
step 1 and step 2. Okay, maybe if I move these, oops. Maybe if I move these here, like that, step 1.
Yes, that'll do it.
I hope I'm right.
You are.
But why? Why would I do it?
Yeah, put that back to star message 2. Did you click deploy, not explore? Oh, it's got nothing for entry. There's nothing in Chan now. You'd have to put something in Chan, like anything. So yeah, there, just send something to Chan. Chan exclamation mark. No, oh, don't think so. Maybe that'll do it. Yeah. But I don't think you want the underscore there, do you? You want star message. No, sorry. I didn't. Why did you replace message with underscore? I don't think you needed to do that.
On line 5.
On line 3. Just put it
No.
back. If you put it back to message in like no, sorry. Leave that as nil on line 2. And on line 3, replace the underscore with message. So you want nil there. So send the nil process on line 2, and on line 3, you need message, because don't send that to nothing. Just put the nil process in MSG, because you're overwriting Chan. Oh, I see. It's message that you want to send on line 4, is it? Not Chan. No, line above, line 4. Why are you sending step 1 to Chan? You want to send step 1 to message, don't you?
Step 1 to message.
Yeah, there. MSG.
Maybe I need to. So this is. Maybe. Step 1. And this should be result step 2. Like that.
I must admit, I've got lost. I preferred what you had at the start, but
now it's just step 1.
Yeah.
So because MSG doesn't exist.
Why don't you go back, mate? I think you've hacked it and got worse than what you showed us in the beginning.
Okay. Hold on.
Yeah.
So if we do a 4, with Chan. In here, it would be step 2. Step 1, okay. And this is, what am I going to send on Chan? I got confused. So Chan is listening for a message, and basically here result no, Chan step 2, step 1, step 1. Okay, something like that. Why? 11. Free variables are not allowed. Oops. Yeah, just display step 1. Where do I get step 2 then?
Mm.
Uh, I don't know. I'm confused now.
Just
I'm completely.
Yeah, I know you are, mate. Don't just no, stay there. Stay where you are. I haven't got it right, but I've tried to reconstruct what you started with. Just try that in the chat and fix it to what you started with. Go back. Oh, you've got it. The beginning, yeah.
This one.
No, I don't know. Is that what you started with? That there. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's almost correct, because lines 4 to 9 are doing what you want to do. They are guaranteeing that you'll run through lines 4 to 6 before 7 to 9, right? The problem you've got in terms of your output is simply that lines 2 and 3, which have to execute first, can execute in either order. So 4 to 9 is working, and barring the fact you need to get rid of that part on line 9, because it's just before you fixed it. Yeah, to delete that. Yeah. So that's now valid syntax, and lines 4 to 10 are doing what you want. Lines 2 and 3, you haven't solved the problem of guaranteeing that step 1 runs before step 2. And I think potentially you could solve that by having a nested send, or maybe by repeating the construction you've got for lines 4 to 9 in lines 2 and 3, if that makes sense. I'm happy to grab the screen back and show you what I'm trying to say, if that might help.
Hi, guys.
Hey.
I'm not here really, but those are executed in parallel. So they're always going to be non-deterministic in the order that you receive them.
Exactly, yeah. Thanks.
The only way you can do them in order is if you write one thing and then write the second thing after you read the first.
Write one thing and then read the second thing.
Then write the second thing after you read the first. So you write step 1, and then when you read the step 1, then write step 2.
Ah, yeah. So put Chan of step 2 in a par with result on line 5. Is that right, Jim?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks.
So say again, Rich.
At the end of that line, add a par, and then write Chan exclamation mark step 2 in quotes, and now delete line 3 completely.
Ooh. Yeah, that looks right.
Yeah, do you want to give that a go? Thanks, Jim.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks, Jim.
I finally broke down and took a pain pill, so I'm a little better than I was before.
Pleased to hear it.
So you have pains?
How are you doing, Jim? Are you back at home completely now?
I'm back at home completely.
Congratulations.
My son is here helping out, so we've been so we're just getting him set for his flight back to New Jersey.
Ah, bless him.
I thought you were going to.
So we'll.
Shall we call it a day today then, Jim, once we've executed this, so you can get on with your family life?
Oh, well, you can get on. I'll call today and leave you guys to it.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, Jim. Get well and take care of yourself.
Totally. Of course, it's his room, but he doesn't have to be on it all the time.
No, he made me the host.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's working. Look,
yeah. Magic. Well done, mate. Can you drop that in the chat? I don't want to lose that. That's brilliant. Well done. That's like the most useful thing we've done today.
where are you? I hate Zoom.
I'm also lost.
Participants, where's the chat? Chat. I use Zoom every day.
I've got it in an app. Are you in an app or are you on the website?
On the app.
Yeah. I can see a Zoom session. It's about 10 in, 11 in.
Yeah, I sent you the code.
Oh, thank you, man. Yeah, brilliant. Have we still got David or is David gone?
Yeah, I'm still
He's
here.
here.
Cool.
Did you see that?
I did. I'm assuming David, you're talking to David there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I stepped out a bit to have dinner.
So that code in the chat, David, is pretty cool. With a tiny bit of help from Jim, Kirill solved running things sequentially in rholang.
Well, that's
One
fantastic.
9-man machine in rholang.
So,
Wow.
so do you want to explain it, Kirill? Unless you saw it, David.
Well, David can understand it, I guess.
Yeah, that's true enough. Are we carrying on or are we calling it a day?
Did we finish the lesson?
We're about half, or maybe not. Yeah, we're about 3/4 of the way through the join lesson. So shall we just finish that?
Okay. Yeah, I'll let you continue.
So I need to share my screen in that case. And while you were writing your code, I also wrote a bit of code, which is related to this. So we've got this code. I think everyone understands join syntax because Kirill just used it cleverly to make rholang execute sequentially. And I suspect David already knew it and I get it as well. So we understand what this is all about. What code would Alice need to par in to retract her launching the rocket command? And the answer is here. It's basically send the nil process. And so I put this into rholang here and you can see that it works. So ignore my comments for now, just focus on the code and I'll just prove that that works. So instead of having, if I comment this out, if I comment these 2 lines out, that and execute, we're launching the rocket. But if I uncomment those, and so I par in the answer, it doesn't launch the rocket. Now, I actually think that's non-deterministic because it's possible that Bob sends this and Alice sends this before this happens. But it is true that if Bob hadn't executed this, then obviously Alice in doing this will retract her launch command. I say that, yeah, because she'd already sent that. We know she'd already sent that. And then if she sends this, that'll definitely consume what she'd sent, yeah? So it's like she's, bloody hell, sorry. Terrible explanation. I think I'm getting tired. Did it make sense? Do you follow what I'm talking about, or have I just confused everybody?
No, I'm confused.
Fair enough. So basically, the answer to the question was how does sorry, let's just go back. I'll start again. Are you good with this and why it works and how the join works, Kirill?
Yeah, well, when a message is received on X and Y, then result gets displayed.
Exactly. So that's what joins do. They look like and conditions. Technically, I think they are actually a bit like SQL joins. I remember on a session with Greg, he said they are actually. I need to think that through, but I'm not surprised, and it's cool. But so that's what they're called, joins, because they do act like joins, but certainly at this basic level, we can treat this semicolon as a bit like an and condition, right? That's what we were told earlier up in this lesson, is when both of these are true, this will execute. And that means all of us understand how you've got like a, you know, it's like having a multi-sig wallet, isn't it? It's like, yeah, they both have to launch. And so now we come to this question. And this question is, what would Alice need to par in to retract her launch command? So she's issued this command, it's got through, and in X, you now have launch. And the answer is she needs to issue this for comprehension, which is basically consume from X. No, send it. What is it? It's basically, yeah, read into X.
What code are in?
I'm a bit confused as to what's happening. I was thinking she's basically consuming the word launch so that it's gone, because that's a single read. So it's not a peek, it's a read. So if she does a separate read into X from the name Alice launch, then she will read this string from this name and it'll be consumed and therefore it'll be gone. So that will make it empty, and then you just do nothing. So if she executes that code, after she's executed this code, she will have essentially retracted her launch command. And when I put that in there, I parred in this, it does appear to work. Nothing happens, right? And if I comment that line out, I'll just do it like that. So if I comment this line out, then
But again, it's non-deterministic. So sometimes it would launch, no?
But yeah, that's what I thought. And so I wrote this. Oh, I wrote the thing that I've now bloody lost from my copy paste. But basically, the question is, why is it non-deterministic? And I think the answer is the following. So Bob hasn't yet launched. So in other words, if Alice just does that and pars in this before Bob does anything, then what happens? What happens is Alice issues launch, and then either, I'm still not sure it's deterministic, either this would execute, which means that this X here would consume the launch and leave Alice launch empty, meaning that this X won't, but it's non-deterministic, isn't it, like you say? So I don't quite get how the answer is supposed to work. I guess I don't even see why these aren't okay, really, because why can't you just send something that isn't launch? Oh, because anything in X will launch a rocket. So sending cancel isn't good enough because it's
the second to be consumed. It's the second message on that channel to be consumed rather than something consuming the channel. Consuming what's in the channel.
Say that again, Kirill.
So a channel is a mailbox.
Right.
And there's
yes.
When you send a cancel message to Alice's mailbox, she now has two messages inside her mailbox.
Yeah.
And the second one in line is cancel after launch.
I'm not sure that's right. Is it a mailbox that members a list? I thought it would replace the word launch with the word cancel, but that doesn't matter because X will still read cancel, and it's not got any logic to say you must send launch. If you send it anything, it'll launch the rocket. Doesn't matter if you send it Joe Blogs or launch or cancel. If you send it a message, it'll launch the rocket.
Okay.
And I think that's right. I think I'm right there. I'm still confused how you get this to truly work. I mean, it appears to work. Nothing's happening. And if I comment out that line, we launch the rocket. And I swear to God, I must have hit it 100 times and nothing happens. So it appears to work, but I don't understand.
Deterministic. This is deterministic behavior.
Well, by empirical evidence, it appears to be, but of course, we could just be getting 100 of these because of the way rholang is implemented, and if I click it 105 times, it'll suddenly launch the rocket, right?
Maybe a million times.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a proof. I believe that this could still launch a rocket, but I've not seen it. And what I'm wondering is, if, remember, Bob hasn't submitted his command, right? So let's get rid of Bob. And then we've just got this behavior now. So why should this cancel? Because surely you could have this executes first, this executes second, and the moment Bob comes in, this executes third, at which point this becomes true and executes fourth, and boom, the rocket is launched. And because you've never run through this, I totally understand how, if this is run, if you run this and then you run this, I get it, you've cancelled it because you've consumed that string and you've left Alice launch empty.
Okay. What if you place Alice launch, Bob launch, and the for comprehension with the nil?
Bless you.
Sorry. In the first lines before the join comprehension.
Sure. That makes sense. Yeah.
You need to move the par as well.
Sorry, I'm with you.
Would that work?
I don't believe it should be any different because that's the whole point of rholang syntax, right? It doesn't appear to be any. So it would appear that presumably Joshi is right and that is the solution, but I don't understand it. What I would say is that this variable x here and this variable x here, are they in the same scope and therefore somehow related? And does that affect things?
No, they're not in the same scope. You can, so you can change them. You can change X to different.
Yeah, but they're the same channel, right? I mean, if I made that,
change one of them to underscore. Yeah, try it. It's the same.
It is. Okay, so I agree, actually. It's nicer, although it doesn't matter. That is closer to the logic of what we're doing. We are emptying Alice launch of a process so that it's got nothing in it. And if it's got nothing in it, that means this isn't true, which means when Bob launches, yes, his bit's true, but this has been nullified, if you like. So I think we all probably get that. But what we don't get is,
can you move the for comprehension after the join comprehension?
Yeah.
Separate them.
Like that. Sorry. Oh, for God's sake.
It doesn't have to be perfect.
True. I mean, it's going to still work, but it shouldn't be working for me.
Try
I mean,
exploring it a few times. Try exploring it a few times. Maybe it's non-deterministic.
I think it is deterministic, though, and it appears to be deterministic. I think we all expect it to be non-deterministic, and yet the behaviour we're observing suggests it is deterministic.
Does Josh's tutorial say why?
No.
Um,
What code would Alice need to par in to retract her launch command? This is the code, and it does appear to work. But why does it shouldn't work for me? That is just not correct, because you could have this run in that order, right? You could have Alice launch, Bob launch, and then this run, unless we say everything runs at the same time. But how can that? Everything runs at the same time. I think that might be the answer. So Alice has to send something in order for this to run. So that actually has to happen. So line 3 has to happen before line 11. Now, the moment that line 3 has happened.
Yeah, but line 3 can't execute unless we have something that consumes it.
Yes, it can. It can send it to it can send the process, the ground term launch to Alice launch. It can do that, and then that just then this process just sits in the name Alice launch until something wants to consume it, and that has to happen first, because you can't take what's in Alice launch and get rid of it, or take what's in Alice launch and write it to X. You can do neither of those things until this has happened, right? So you are guaranteed that line 3 will execute before this part of line 7.
I know why.
Go on.
Because Alice launch is easy. It's quicker to consume than the two of them together. Always.
Why? Just because that's how it works?
Because one of them has to wait for the two, and the other just consumes one of them.
I guess so, but that's technically implementation specific.
You have to be quicker. You have to go into each mailbox and check what's there. So to consume both.
Yeah, I follow you, and I think that's right, but I don't think the row calculus would say that that's guaranteed. It's only the implementation that does what you said. So the way that our node and our space work and it all gets executed, I think you're right. It is guaranteed that this line will execute quicker than a join condition. It must be, otherwise we'd have seen it, right? But the row calculus says everything just executes at the same time, which means either of these could, you could have that and that at the same time, and then this happens and it's done before this this just sits there waiting. I think that is possible in the row calc, but in the implementation we've got of our chain and of rholang, you're correct. And I think that's probably the answer.
I think if you were to run it enough times, it wouldn't always do the join first.
It wouldn't.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, I agree.
Who knows? I mean, there's some cases where you'll get the same answer 10 times in a row, and the 11th time you'll get something different.
Exactly. Thank you, Jim, for confirming. Appreciate it, because it means we can move on for a start. So Josh has also explored the concept of joins in the context of famous dining philosophers problem. Okay. Oh, in this blog post, I suggest we don't read that. And anyway, we can't because it's not there anymore. Apparently. Yeah, it's gone. Okay, so question so this is 2 single reads, do nothing after. Which channel must be sent first? It's a join, isn't it?
Doesn't matter.
Agreed. Oh, yes, yeah, the answer's right in front of us. Sorry. In this one, which message will be consumed first? Okay, so yeah, they'll be consumed simultaneously because only when this has got something in it and this has got something in it do both happen. That's the definition of join. Exercise. There is a game where 2 players will each send a message on separate channels. Okay. Whoever sends a message first loses, and whoever sends a second message wins. Your task here is to write the game code that will tell which player won. To play the games, players send messages like that. Okay. Solution to the patience game. In this case, we actually don't want to use join because we care which player went first. He did trick me, or us. But he's basically nested the code like Kirill said. So
not entirely. Like I said, here is
yes.
non-deterministic again. No.
Yeah, it's non-deterministic but only because he's basically coded it twice, right? So either of these will execute instantaneously when one of these events happens. So whichever one happens first, they'll lose. Because if this happens, hope I win, then P2 will be immediately consumed and player 1 wins. And if this happens, then this won't be consumed, but this will, and player 2 wins. So he solved the problem, yeah? But it's not about sequential process. Well, sort of sequential, isn't it? It's quite interesting. He's sort of done the same thing as you did, but with nested 4s, yeah? But it's less neat. I prefer your solution, Kirill.
No, this isn't sequential. Mine is sequential. This is sequential.
You're right. This isn't sequential. This is, yeah, you're bang on. Thank you. Yeah, this isn't sequential. It's logical. Yeah. It's using concurrency to get the logic you want in this one. Yeah. Whereas in your one, you're actually enforcing sequential code.
Yeah.
Happy?
Yeah.
I'm assuming David's happy. So,
yep.
Great. So, like the comment says, you should send the messages in both orders to make sure of who wins. One player signal or the other. We'll explore this concept further in the unforgeable names lesson. Okay. Why is it possible for no one to win the patience game with this code? I'm going to cheat because I'm kind of getting a bit tired. The first block receives P2, while the second receives P1, so neither ever finishes. P1 sends a message. Maybe we should actually try and answer the question rather than look at the answer. So why is it not possible for anyone to win? Well, what's happening? So player 1 sends their message and then signals player 2 who is waiting. And signal is just thrown away. And then player 2 sends their message. Is it a case of there's no starting point? This can't execute because there's nothing in signal. No, I know, because that can execute and that can execute. So they both execute. P1 sends something, signal sends something, signal gets thrown away, and then P2 executes, which would surely mean P1 is always sent first.
No, not necessarily.
How could P2 ever be sent before? Oh, no, yeah, sorry, not necessarily. I'm talking rubbish. Yeah, so that could execute first, and then this would be sent.
First block receives P2, while the second, where's,
Do you think this is accidentally incorrect
receives-
code?
see, I don't understand this. The first block, what first block? Okay, first block is new P1, P2 signal in, and there's the block definition.
Yeah.
While the second receives P1.
I'm wondering whether he's saying this.
The first block is for signal. That's the first block, and it receives P2. Where does it receive it?
When signal happens. I mean, is it saying you're replacing these 3 lines here with this, and then you're executing your for loops, or is it just partially finished code? And I'm not sure this is right.
This is a finished code.
Because there is no determination of who wins in there. You're just sending messages. That's all it's doing, right? It's P1 sends a message, signal sends a message. When signal sends a message, P2 sends a message. So you're starting to build up conditional processing in that signal has to execute before P2, but that's it. There's nothing more to say, I don't think.
P1, P2 signal. Those are the messages. So you send my message to P1, and
I actually think what he means by this, I'm just going to propose something, and the best way to do it is to paste it in here.
Okay, P1 is the result. P1 is the result. And
I think what he might mean is this. Why doesn't this whole thing work? Because then we could actually consider it, right? So P1 would send this message, fine. That would mean P1 has sent a message, in which case player 2 would win, right? Or signal could send a message, in which case player 2 could then send a message before P1, and then that would mean that player 1 wins. So I don't think it is that. I think I'm on the wrong lines, but this looks like incomplete code, but maybe it is. I mean, over to you, because I'm confused. I don't see anything in this.
yeah, I'm confused.
So why is it possible for no one to win the game as we wrote it above? Because the first block receives P2 while the second receives P1. So no one ever finishes. What the?
So P1 sends their message, then signals P2 who is waiting.
I think it's one of those where if I was on a course, I'd say, screw this, it's not important. It's got nothing.
Hold on. The first block, P1 sends their message, then signals P2 who is waiting. So P2 is waiting. The first block receives P2. while the second one receives P1.
That has to refer to up here, right? Because this is true. This first block receives P2, while the second block receives P1. Absolutely correct. And therefore, that's why I'm suggesting that this is what we've really got. Yeah, he's saying replace these lines here with this stuff, and then explain why it never finishes. But I think it does finish.
Well, let's execute it.
Yeah.
Let's execute the example given.
Yeah. Syntax error.
No, just copy and paste the example. I don't think.
I know what I've done wrong. I'm missing a bracket. Let me just add that bracket and just humour me.
Or send any message. Send any message.
All right, I'll do what you asked.
Yeah, but this is.
It's incomplete code, though. I mean, it doesn't make sense to execute that.
No, it's not a proper example, because it would always return the result, and the result is P1. Do you see what I mean?
It does appear to always be P1, but why?
Because P1 is the result.
Oh, yeah. P1's the first variable. Yeah.
So if you return P2, maybe we need to ask. So this was in source, no, content, tutorials. Which tutorial was this? Join, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to ask, going to say, in fact. Signal going. Can't I just comment on this?
Yeah, I just see it as P2 will always win, because P1's always, no, except it hasn't even always gone first. It's not true.
So how do I? Normal view. Raw. This is a raw view. How can I initiate a discussion on a code that I dislike?
I don't know, I'm afraid. Why is it? No, it's related. I actually think it's not that it never finishes. It's more that it might. Yeah, the key, I've got it, Kirill. It doesn't say that it won't finish. It says, why is it possible for no one to win? And it is suggesting that you replace this. So in other words, it's saying replace what you had before. So leave the other code blocks. Yeah. Why is it possible? Not why is it definite? Why is it possible for no one to win? And the reason is that P1 could send its message to here.
Yeah, but you're adding result in the first line.
Yeah, I am, because I think that's probably a typo. And in some ways it doesn't matter, because remember, it's only about having it displayed to the screen. Actually, you don't have to return result. You could just throw it up. You could just say here, well, yeah, no, you could send result to here. You could just have, I still don't see it would execute, surely. And yet clearly it's not doing, because I execute it here, we're getting nothing back, suggesting that. Ah, I got it. I think I got it anyway. I almost had it. So the point is P2 can be consumed here and here, right? So if P1 sends its message, then that means that this 4 gets executed, right? Well, which means that you've got this thing now waiting for a message. But this is still hanging around waiting for a message as well. So now you're going to get signal of 1, consume and throw away signal. P2 sends hope I win. Now, it could get picked up here by M2, or it could get picked up here by P2. If it gets picked up here by P2, then it's stuck. So certainly with this code, it can be stuck. The question is, and therefore the first block receives P2, well, the second, it's badly written, but it should, just like it says, why is it possible? It could say here, it is possible the first block receives P2 while the second receives P1. And if that happens, neither finishes. So that is certainly true. I think that might be true of this as well. But it's not, because here one of these, well, I don't know, let's see. Yeah, P1 sends its message. That means, let's say that event happened first. That would certainly do that. But then P2 sends its message. what happens next? Does that get executed or does this get executed? So I think the point really is that this does not solve the patient game. You need to use a join. Now, I don't know how you solve the patient's game, but to me, this is basically saying that this code, whether you initiate using this or you initiate using that, either way, it is possible that this code will never execute because you'll get a sort of a bit like a race condition. Does that make sense?
No, I'm out.
I think I can see why it never executes.
Say again. Try to.
I think I can now see why it is possible for the code not to print a result.
Why?
Because P1 gets sent, right?
Yep.
Let's say that just happens in the implementation runtime to run, it picks up and run first. Technically, these should be run together, right? So I think even that's bad. But let's say P1 gets run first. That clearly means that this will execute before this, right? So this is sat there waiting and this is executed. Because it can.
How do you know that?
Because the moment a message is identified as sent, this picks it up. That's rholang, right?
Not necessarily.
But that's the idea, is that the moment a message is sent, then if something is waiting to receive it, they will receive it instantaneously, right?
Let's try it. Let's try it. Where is it?
And if the second message is sent,
Explore.
and then that picks it up.
Deterministically empty.
Pardon?
Is deterministically empty.
Yes. And I don't get why it finishes necessarily. I think it should either finish and return a winner, or it should hang. I don't understand why it returns deterministically empty.
Because result is the first one. Because it's waiting for P1 and P2.
I mean, result never gets written to. I get that, but the code's still running, right? So why is it returned? It's obviously the case that in the implementation, P2, the moment it's written, gets assigned to M2, and P1, the moment it's written, gets assigned to M1. In other words, it never does this, then this, or that, then that. It always does this, then this, which makes sense, but then, and result would of course remain empty because the thing's hung. It's just got a couple of channels hanging around. I guess this times out or figures out that it's done, and it's just the way the ecosystem is currently working.
M2. Where does it?
I'm happy to move on, actually. I think there's nothing more to be said. It's to do with a mixture of badly written tutorial and badly implemented rholang. And it's got all to do with the join condition. And I think we've got better things to spend our time on, starting with unforgeable names next week.
Yeah, wait, look at what I did. Can I share?
Please do, yeah.
For a second. Yeah, so I put these here and here. You see?
Oh, yeah, I like that. Nice.
Okay, and look what I get. So this is non-deterministic, but this never executes.
Yeah.
It's like P2 never gets...
Because it's going to both. Yeah, it's doing. You've proved it's doing what I was hypothesizing it's doing. Every single time, it's executing the first part of the code block in the two separate code blocks, and therefore it's consuming P1 into M1, and it's consuming P2 into M2, and that means it then can run the result is assigned block 1, but there's nothing to consume in the inner 4 can never be consumed from P1 or P2, and that's just because of the way it's been implemented.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and what I don't understand is why it's then spitting out empty. It must somehow be working out it can't finish. It must somehow have detected it. Oh, maybe it. I don't know, because
maybe newer implementations work differently.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's about implementation, and therefore I think we can ignore it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bit of an annoying way to finish, but on the plus side, I think we had a really good session, because if I just share my screen again, let's just see how much we covered.
Well, we covered a few things.
We did. We reviewed sending and receiving and names. We covered send and peek and join, and we've moved on to unforgeable names. And that's progress, because we're nearly going to get to things I don't know about and are interesting, like bundles for permissioning, state channels, not sure, object capabilities for security, additional syntax, reviewing pattern matching, data structures, recursion, and again, off-chain and cheat sheet. I mean, we're into it now. So yeah, we do. Unforgeable names will be a bit more of the same. We've sort of seen it before, but once we get through this lesson, at least for me, we're into new stuff. So I feel that was really good. Thank you for staying on, guys.
Yeah, and we can write some issues and discuss them on the documentation and on the website.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Yeah, and happy to go as slow as people want in order to get the docs right. In terms of my availability, I'm hoping to attend every Thursday till Christmas, with the exception of 2 weeks time. So I will be here next week on the 14th. I won't be around 21st, and then hopefully I'll be around every week until we hit Christmas.
Okay, so 14 you'll be here?
Yeah, next week I'll be here. The week after I'll be away, and then I'll be here till Christmas. So sorry about that. Yeah, and if you want to carry on, that's not unreasonable. But I'll leave you. Well, I'll see you next week, and we'll see where we get to. Yeah.
See you next week. I'm stopping as well.
Cool.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks, David. Thanks, Jim.
Yeah, thanks, guys. You definitely stopped us wasting the whole session. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Great work, mate. See you later next week.
See you next week.
Have you dreamed the message?